Hey y'all, welcome back to Sistas in Crime with Shy and Toy. I'm Toy, short for Latoya.
And I'm Shy, short for Shamia.
All right, and this week we're going to be covering a case out of Texas. So trigger warning, this is going to revolve around domestic violence. So if there's any DV victims watching, just be mindful of that. You may want to go ahead and click off now if that is too triggering for you, or if you've been a part of or witnessed domestic violence events happen. Just trigger warning on everything, okay? So we gonna give the warning in the beginning.
Yes.
So we give
Yeah.
y'all a minute to go ahead and get out of here. This is a recent case. So we not this like when I say recent, I think within the past week, right, sis?
Yeah, it happened last week.
Yeah,
hmm
last week. So I'm gonna let Shy go ahead and start us off as always. We gonna just go jump right into it, okay?
So, y'all, initially, this case was not getting a lot of traction. I think what was helpful in getting it out to mainstream media was honestly like TikTok users being outraged. I mean, when I saw the case, I was outraged because this is one of those cases where the victim did everything she was supposed to do, everything her attorney told her to do, everything the cops told her to do, and she still ended up getting killed anyway. So this case is out of Katy, Texas. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Please forgive me if I'm not. I believe her name is Nitya Ramroop. So she was 35. She had come home from work on Halloween. It was around 11 p.m. And her estranged husband shot her and she died. Okay, so just giving like a brief background because there's not a lot of background about her or her husband, but they were days away from getting a divorce. So she feared that he would hurt her since they were almost at that finish line. She was terrified. So while they were married, she reported that he was very abusive. He was abusive in front of the kids. Not only was he abusive, of course, he was like emotionally abusive. And of course, that's what led to the divorce. She tried her best to get away from him, like, tried her best. And he would just keep coming around, keep coming around. So finally, she was able to get away from him, file for divorce. She had the kids. And she also had bought a home that he didn't know about. So everything was going well. She was communicating with her attorney, but he didn't know where she lived, but he started like stalking her. So he would follow her to work if she was just out and about with a friend. There was even a case where, well, an instance where she was at a bar with a friend and he showed up and started jerking her and trying to, hurt her. And a friend ended up intervening. All right. So there was just a lot of abuse, a lot of abuse. So the attorney always told her, go to the police, tell them about it, and they never would do anything. They would say, well, he's not doing anything, so there's nothing we can do. And I just think that is complete BS that you could not
That
do anything for this woman.
that part enraged me. Like
Yes.
when I say I'm livid, I am livid. And for the simple fact that, stalking, people have been arrested for stalking. So I don't know why they're saying that they couldn't do
Right.
anything. There's a whole show based off
Mhm.
men and women behind bars for stalking.
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, celebrities have people arrested all the time for stalking. All the
Yes.
time. I've
And
heard
on
it.
top of that, the incident that you mentioned, Sha, about them being at the bar, he also vandalized her car. So could you not do anything about that either?
That
Like
same night.
the same night, I'm not
Mhm.
understanding. Like the I feel like the police really failed her because she doing
Mhm.
what she's supposed to do.
Mhm.
Okay,
And
she's coming to y'all for help and protection.
yes. Yeah.
What's going on?
And she did, like, she told the police, like, I'm fearful of him, like, I'm scared. He's following her. And not only was he following her, he had his family in on it too. So they
Yes.
were showing up, harassing her at her job. I think I saw where they also showed up at her sister's job. harassing them, and like he just wouldn't stop, and she was terrified. And as they got closer and closer to court, so that divorce can be granted, like I feel like, well, she indicated to several people that, you know, that she was fearful. Like, I'm scared. Like, I feel like he's gonna hurt me. She told her attorney that. Matter of fact, so far since this hit the news, her attorney has been the one, giving details. Just because he's just like shocked, and he was very upset. His name was Oche Ohia. That was her attorney, and he was just talking about how she was such a sweet woman, smart woman. He was looking forward to her getting this fresh start, but he did, give her advice like, do this, do that, go to the police, making sure all her ducks were in order to make sure that she stayed safe, her kids were safe, and that, she could stay out of harm's way. And it was just so disheartening to hear this woman did everything, because that is what women are told: leave, call the cops, and like all of these things. And for her to do everything, I mean, she went to the cops like 3 or 4 times saying, I'm scared, and they did absolutely nothing. And that ticks me off, because they don't understand the trauma behind domestic violence. Like, not only is it's the children, like, making sure like they're safe, but women, you tell them leave, but sometimes it's a psychological hold on them. They can't leave,
Yeah.
because once they're in this space where it's toxic, violent, they can't, it impacts their decision making.
Right.
It just different things, like they just shut down. Some people just automatically just start crying, then some um just kind of withdraw and go inward. Like, there's a psychological impact behind domestic violence.
But not only that, a lot of times when they leave, that's
Mhm.
when they die.
Yes.
When they do finally get up the courage to leave, that's when they end up getting killed.
Yes.
But what in those instances, what else are they supposed to do? They notified the authorities. Now, if she was to
Mhm.
take the situation in her own hands, she would be
Yeah.
behind bars. But you can't
She
arrest
would.
him for stalking.
She would. She would. And each time the cops just told her, when she would report stalking situations, she was just told, contact your attorney. And she was in good contact with her attorney. And I feel like there was some evidence to build a case, like for them to at least build a record and a paper trail for the time she came in saying she was sad. I'm not sad, I'm sorry, was fearful. So not only that, according to her attorney who they interviewed, he said that the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services got involved at one point, because there was an anonymous tip received by the school, I think, allegedly,
Hmm.
because they were concerned. But an investigation didn't take place for whatever reason, and it doesn't list who potentially, like what it was made for, or different things like that. You don't know. Maybe because this is a case that just happened on Halloween, so who knows? There might be more information that may come out, but that could also been included in her paper trail to support, like, building a case on this man. And for him to have his family doing the same thing, like, do y'all not consider the kids and what is impacting them at all?
No,
Like, you just concerned about her divorcing you and her leaving you. And
no.
it just makes me angry. It really
Because
does.
I saw somewhere where he was abusing her in front of the kids.
Yes.
He was like playing with knives around her, something like that,
Yes.
and then became aggressive and pushed her down in front of the children.
Yes.
So no,
Yes.
him or his family, it start from the root.
Yep.
Him or his family did not care about
Yeah.
any of that, and I'm like, these
Yeah.
poor kids, y'all, they was together. Okay,
Nitya Ramroop.
Miss
Yeah.
Nitya Ramroop
Hmm.
was with this man for over 18 years.
Yes. Yes. And
Ain't
he
no
was
telling what
very
them babies
abusive.
done seen. Ain't no telling
Exactly. He
what
was
them babies
very
done
abusive.
seen.
Yeah. And the sad part is, and his friends allegedly actually came to her, like, not too long ago, before she was murdered, came to her and said, please be careful, because he was telling them stuff he was gonna do to her. And I said, why didn't y'all report this to the police? This woman is fearing for her life, and you don't report that to the police? Come on, y'all.
They wouldn't have done nothing. They had, I'm pretty sure they had it on camera, him vandalizing her car. What did they do? The police done been called several times in regards to domestic violence with this man, yet to do anything. So,
yeah.
Is y'all short staffed? Y'all understaffed in Katy, Texas? What's going on?
I don't know. Y'all need to get it together down there, because there needs to be some stronger laws. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I don't do politics.
I don't either.
But definitely we need gun laws in place, because it's stuff like this. That's why I'm fully supportive of gun laws. I'm just sorry. I don't do politics, but that's just one thing I stand on. Right. Because this woman went through so much, and for her to do all the right things, and for her to be taken away from her kids. She was very young, 35, had her whole life ahead of her. 35 is not all, that is so young.
It is, because I'm 34, and I know you ain't nobody about to call me real young.
But for her to do all the right things and still not get help, that just hits me in a way. I'm sorry, that just hits me in a way, because at this time, according to her attorney, the couple was in a very, very intense custody battle. That was one thing. And also they were battling some marital property. Like I said, he came to her workplace. So y'all, let's get into the night that she was murdered. So that night, he followed her home. It does not give they did not give details on how he actually found her home, because like I mentioned before, this is a home she was hiding from him. She purposely did not tell him where she was living. So I don't even know how he found her, that part. But he showed up, found a home, showed up, and he shot her. So when he shot her, he proceeded to go in the house, and he stabbed her 25-year-old little sister repeatedly. She almost did not make it, but thankfully they were able to get her to the hospital, and they are saying she is going to make a full recovery and she's going to be okay. But the kids were in the house while he did all of this, while he murdered their mom and stabbed their aunt multiple times with glass.
Let's unpack that. Yes. So you're going through this custody battle with your soon-to-be ex-wife for sole custody of your children, for whom you commit these acts of violence in front of. It's not giving that you even give a damn about your kids. It's just you want to be in control. Yeah. And you want to have the power, because if you cared anything about your children, you would do what is in their best interest. And I guarantee you their best interest was not you killing their mama or stabbing their auntie.
And that also shows me you had no business having custody of them anyway.
No.
If you can't control yourself and you can't go without, I understand, I haven't been through a divorce, but I know people that have. I'm pretty sure it is hard. It's painful, to be in that place. I'm pretty sure. But there are other ways to express your aggression or whatever. There are other ways. It sounds like he didn't even need to have custody of them. And honestly, it was probably going to be one of them situations, hypothetically, if he got custody, he would just use that as control too, to try to make her come to him. Yep. If she want, it's just control, all around control.
That's it.
And this rascal,
I'm not going to say that. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. This rascal drives not too far from her house and kills himself. He kills himself.
Coward. So now your kids ain't got no parent.
They don't have no parent.
You ain't give a damn about them kids. Why you going through a custody battle? You could care less about those children.
Obviously you didn't, because you wouldn't have, if you cared about them, you wouldn't have years ago pushed her and played with knives in front of your kids. If you cared. If you cared, you would have never killed their mom in the beginning. You wouldn't have killed her. You wouldn't have stabbed her aunt or her sister in front of those kids. You didn't care anything about the kids. This was about control.
Control and power.
Control. And I'm sorry, Texas, you failed this woman.
Horribly.
I hope this transpires much change, not just in Texas, but around the world, because there are so many women and men who are in situations like this and don't know how to get out. And for
Right.
this case, her making every effort, doing everything her attorney told her to do, and for her to still this be the outcome,
Yeah.
you
And
failed
that
this
happens
woman.
very often,
It
unfortunately.
does.
So I don't even think we can just single out Texas. It has happened here in South Carolina. I know of
Yeah.
several domestic violence cases that have taken place. It's happened in North Carolina. It's happened all over. But my thing is, with as much media attention as these type of cases get, does that not kind of trigger something within those who enforce the laws, the lawmakers, to say, hey, something is
Mm-hmm.
not working, or we need something else to put in place to protect these men, women, and children who are, victims in these domestic violence cases. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times they'll shoot the children too. Thank God he did not shoot his own kids.
Yeah.
But there was just a case where I think in New Orleans where the man set the house on fire with his
Mm-hmm.
kids in there to get back at his baby mama. Like,
Yes,
what
I
is
remember
wrong
that.
with y'all? But as my
Yeah.
sister said, men go through domestic violence incidents as well. The thing with them though, they're less likely to disclose because
Mm-hmm.
we have so much pressure on men to be this macho figure, and they're supposed to be XYZ, and if they're not, then it takes away from them, their manhood, or it kind of emasculates them.
Mm-hmm.
Call the anonymous tip line. I know there's one for domestic
Mm-hmm.
violence. Like,
There is. Yeah.
if you don't want to be identified, there's ways around it. But y'all, I can tell you all day, don't subject yourself to that. But it is hard to get out of a situation, especially in this case when it's been 18 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
18, and you have three children.
Mm-hmm.
So this is no judgment from us,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just saying there are resources. Hopefully we can get some better laws in place with regards to protecting men, women, and children who are victims of domestic violence, because that is insane to me how she did everything right and
Mm-hmm.
her life was still stolen.
Yeah.
I can't fathom, like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all, that hurt me. Like, I knew this lady.
Yeah.
Like, every time I see a case like that, I get real
Mm-hmm.
emotional because it's
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy the world we live in, and
Mm-hmm.
how people can just say it's nothing we can do when
Yeah.
you see this person needs help.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there wasn't anything you could have done on the legal side as far as her contacting the police, what about connecting her to some resources of some
Yes,
options that she could have? It's not
right,
just it's about, I feel like the cops, that's what she should have went, and that's a no-brainer.
right.
But like, if hypothetically you couldn't do anything, right? You could have sent this woman some resources where they could help her. There are resources, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, who would have helped her? I feel like she was doing a great job trying to hide herself and all that stuff, but there probably was other things that were probably available to her that no one probably even mentioned,
yeah.
and like, it just really just moves me in a way that I just can't even express, because this woman, like, and if you see pictures of her, she's very
Very
beautiful,
beautiful,
very
very
beautiful
beautiful.
woman. Like, it's just so makes you so sad, and it just makes you so mad, because they tell you call the cops, but people gotta understand the trauma behind domestic violence really, really wreaks havoc on the brain. It causes a lot of, it impacts the brain like people don't realize, right? So the decision making, emotionally, just your emotional, like, responses and stuff like that, all of that is wrapped into each other. And that's why, I remember, like, being like, why don't they leave? Like, why can't they just leave? But like, just doing research on domestic violence, it talks a lot about, like, people can't just leave. It's like,
Yeah,
it's just like they just can't. Like, it's just
it's
an
not
emotional
that
response.
simple.
Yeah.
While it may seem simple on the outside looking in, when you're actually in that situation,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. you would think, okay, if they abusing you, why don't you just leave? No, a lot of
Mhm.
times there, like we said, there's control. With control, there's power. With
Mhm.
that, there's manipulation. A lot of
Mhm.
times, women and men in these situations, they may be relying on the other person because they're the breadwinner.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
kids involved. There's brainwashing, like alienation, separating you from your friends, from your family. So, okay, who can I rely to? Because we've severed this connection, or he or she has severed this relationship I had to anyone outside of him or her. So, what am I to do? Like,
Right.
there's so much behind it, y'all. And I didn't understand it way back when, but now I
Mhm.
do. Like, it's about as worse as addiction. Like, it's
Mhm.
it's up here. Like,
Yeah.
it affects the
Mhm.
connections in the brain, and it kind of rewires your decision making and thought processing. So it's not as simple as, you know, I'm gonna just walk out the door. Because I guarantee you, if it was that easy and that simple, a lot of people would have done it long ago.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It's more to it than surface.
Right. So I looked up a few statistics, about domestic violence, and this is just not limited to women. This is also men as well. So the first one I saw, it says on average of 24 people per minute are victims of rape, physical violence, stalking by an intimate partner in the United States. More than 12 million women and men over the course of one single year. That's one.
That's
So
insane.
right. So the second one I found is nearly 3 in 10 women, 29%, and 1 in 10 men, 10% in the U.S. have experienced rape, physical violence, and stalking by a partner and reported it having a related impact on their functioning. So that means emotionally, decision making, all that stuff we've discussed. Intimate partner violence alone affects more than 12 million people a year. That just sounds a lot like the first one.
Yeah.
2/3, which is 66.2% of female stalking victims, were stalked by current or former intimate partners. There's also a statistic, I forgot to look it up. I think it said 30% or 40% of women who have brain injuries come from intimate partner violence. That's another thing. So this case, I'm telling you, I will be keeping myself updated on this case just to see how everything transpires. Of course, I hope the
Yeah.
story, there's more that's, you know,
Because I really
it's,
want to know who gave out her location
I do too. Cause
and
I'm like,
why.
was it these friends that warned you about him? Like what was it? Like who warned? Like who did this?
Yeah.
I have so many questions, and like that's why I said I'll be following up on it because there's so many things I want to know, so many questions that I have. And I understand they have a whole investigation. They're not going to release any details, but I'm happy because at first the only coverage I saw was on TikTok, but then as I started doing research on it, I saw Oxygen, People Magazine, so many people, like so many news outlets had, posted articles and they interviewed her attorney. I was like, good, this is getting traction, like
Yeah.
we're getting the word out there, like just
And
a
like you
cautionary story.
said, I think it's because of TikTok. Y'all,
Yeah,
TikTok can listen.
yeah,
TikTok
yeah.
can be
It
a
can be
blessing in the
positive or
skies.
negative. Yes.
TikTok has helped find missing people.
Yep.
TikTok has helped garner more traction for cases like this who,
Yeah.
that are not being heard. Like,
Yes.
TikTok can be a powerful resource.
It can. It
Because
definitely can.
before it was posted on TikTok, I wouldn't have known nothing about it. Like,
Yes.
it was just on the local news station.
Yes.
So, there's
Yeah.
some I mean, social media comes with a lot of drama and stuff, but there's a lot of power behind it too.
Right. Right.
So we will be following this case to see what new developments come about. Um, I don't know what they can do being that the man killed himself. I don't know the children. I assume they would go to her family, assuming that her family is in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope and pray they do not enter the foster care system, whatever happens.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want them to go to his family though.
Mm-mm.
So
I want
that's
it
so
to where
sad.
they can go to. I don't know her mother's family, whatever. But I'm with you. I definitely don't want them with his family. I hope they have a restraining order against his family. I hope they can go to like family court, or
Hmm.
I hope she had like some legal like documents, like a will or something that said, if
Yeah,
this happens, if something happens to me,
my
I want
children
my
are to
kids to go
go here.
here, and different stuff like that. I hope she had those things in place. But I definitely hope they don't go with his family, and I hope they can put a restraining order against that family so they can never see those kids again.
Because that family was complicit in this as well. So
Yes. Yeah.
no, they like, and
But
I
my
know y'all
question
probably
for
looking
them,
stupid.
I'm
Hmm.
sorry, to interrupt, but my
You
question
good?
for them, did you know he was going to kill himself once he killed
Probably
her?
not.
Did he discuss that part with you too?
Probably not. But that's why I say you're a coward, because you wouldn't gonna go and face time. You wasn't gonna face your consequences. You want to take yourself out too. But that's fine, because no one will miss you here. I just hate it for your children. They've lost both a mother and a father.
Yeah.
So yeah, enjoy hell.
Yeah. Because that's where you're going with gasoline
That's
drop.
where he is.
Yeah. That's where he is.
Hope you
Mhm.
enjoy hell.
I'm
This is
just,
sad. Like we said,
yeah,
y'all, this was a kind of a deep
mhm,
one this week.
yeah, yeah. But we wanted to report on it because it's a current event, and
Yeah.
with October, well, we just came out of October, and with that being Domestic Violence Month, for it to be the last
Oh
day.
my God, just realized that.
Yeah, it with that being she got killed on
On the
October
last
31st. And that
day.
was the last day of October. Like I mentioned, it's Domestic Violence Month. So that was very significant for me. And I'm telling y'all, I got weepy because
Yeah. Cause like and if you notice, we wasn't able to do a lot of joking around with this because ain't nothing about this funny. Okay.
no,
So y'all just I do agree we need gun laws.
yeah,
We do need just better laws, period, to
yes,
protect domestic violence victims.
yeah,
I don't know a lot about politics, so I don't know
hmm,
what has to happen for that to take place.
hmm,
But as much media attention as recent domestic violence cases have been garnering, like
hmm,
it looked
hmm,
like y'all would say,
hmm,
"Hey,
hmm.
this
I
isn't
mean,
working."
domestic violence, school shootings. Are you kidding
Yes,
me? And they're
yes.
not talking like, if I recall correctly, the gun laws are not for people who just want to like tote a little pistol or whatever. It's to keep these people with the AK-47. Like, why do you need something
Why
like
do you
that?
need that?
Why do you need that? That's the part I'm trying to
You
understand. Like, why
going
do
to
you need something
war?
like that? No, you're not. And you don't need a gun like that. See, that's why I feel like the gun laws are in play, or they're trying to implement them for stuff like that. Not
Yeah,
people just carrying around. I don't own a gun. I don't. I don't plan on it.
I do.
I don't know.
But
Yeah, I might.
um
I don't know.
it's
But
just because
yeah,
my situation. I'm a
yeah,
single female. So,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
But I'm, not mentally insane and mentally
yeah,
unstable. So,
yeah,
but I will protect myself at all costs. Let me just
yeah.
say that.
Do what you got to do. But
I'm not going to shoot to kill, but do not
right,
come at me with that.
right.
Okay?
No, I got you. I got you.
All right.
But they're trying to prevent these big machine guns, like these huge guns that they use in war. Why do you need something like that? That's the stuff
You
they're trying to
don't.
get off the street, not your little shotgun or anything. That's not what they're talking about.
But see, people who really love guns, the main ones I watch that I've seen that are against them developing gun laws, they have those type of guns. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why you do not need them, but like real gun people have a variety of guns, including AK-47s, including shotguns, 22s, 45s, snipers, you name it, they have it. Like I saw a video of a guy's gun collection. I was like, "Oh my God, like that's kind of overkill. What you going to do with it?"
Yeah.
What are you doing with all them weapons and ammunition? Like, is you
Mhm.
preparing for you finna bug out? If y'all know what
Mhm.
that mean, that's like when you preparing for the end of the world and then you
Yeah,
stockpile stuff or whatever. But what
yeah,
y'all doing with all that? What you
yeah.
like? What are you preparing for?
Right,
Or is
right.
it just like, you know, with anything that you collect things that you love? Is it that type of deal? Well, I was
Mhm.
counting the money because guns expensive, y'all. I was like, dog, he got every bit about 50K on that wall,
Right,
if not more, in guns.
right, right.
But yeah, I'm still, even still, I'm still an advocate for gun laws because and if anything, people who have guns need some type of mental or psychological evaluation. If you're
Yes.
gonna have them, that should be mandatory for you to
Right,
have some type
right,
of mental or psychological evaluation. Because I'm not
right.
gonna say crazy people, but if you all ain't all the way there, you do not need a weapon.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah, I
crazy is no
genuinely
longer the accepted term. But y'all know what I'm saying. If you ain't right
insane.
up here,
Yeah, insane.
if you're insane in the membrane,
Yep.
you do not need a weapon.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
are the weapon, okay?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
some instances. But
Yeah.
this one was kind of short this week because like I said, it's recent, just happened last week, so it
Yeah.
wasn't a whole lot besides,
Yeah.
what we were able to cover. But do you
Yeah.
have any final thoughts, Shy? Or
I
anything
don't,
you want to leave the viewers with?
y'all. First, I want to say many, many prayers to the family and the kids.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine if the kids know. Um, I don't know if I don't know if they explained what happened. That's a difficult conversation to have with a child.
Yeah.
Who knows what they heard and saw? So many prayers to the family, the kids, in the days ahead, because I know it's very, very difficult navigating life um, after something so traumatic like this. So many prayers, many, many prayers. I hope this case brings about change, like I said, in the U.S. and around the world for families, women and men, um, to stop this type of stuff from happening. Um, it is really, really emotional for me because I love people. I'm an introvert, but I love people, and I feel so much when stuff like this happens because it's so heartbreaking. Um, not just domestic violence, but murder in general. We get on here and we kick around. We try to smile through it and hee haw. But this one is one of them. I could not even crack a joke through because
Yeah.
I am so emotionally struck by this. But y'all, please, please, please take care of each other. Um, Help each other. If you have a friend in this situation, support them, help them, guide them to the right resources. We have included, well, we will be including the hotline for domestic violence. They have several resources you can contact to get help. So that is all I have. Y'all, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, we will be most definitely staying on top of this case to see how everything transpires. Y'all be blessed, stay safe, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.